Okay, hello guys, welcome to my channel today. I'm super excited to have you here. For those of you who are just seeing this channel, welcome to my channel where I share thoughts on investing, financial intelligence, everything about money, cryptocurrency, blockchain, and the likes. Now, but in today's video, I am not going to be sharing about blockchain or cryptocurrency and maybe a bit about financial intelligence though. But today's video is strictly for, we're going to be talking about something interesting, and I have an interesting personality here today that's going to help us do justice to what we'll be talking about today. I'm going to be talking about money and ministry, right? How should someone who is in ministry, a young person who is in ministry, how should their relationship with money be? Now, there are certain questions and thoughts we're going to be having in this line, and we have no other person better to take this, to share his thoughts on this and to share scriptural perspective on this than an apostle, right? A nation builder, as he's fondly called, a businessman to the core. He's here with us. Nice to meet you, ladies and gentlemen. Please, with a clap and everything, please help me welcome my brother, friend, senior colleague, business partner, ministry partner, and everything, in the person of Apostle James Ogbaji. It's such an honor to have you here, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
Yeah. Also, I've seen you and followed you for a very long time. So I'm super excited to have you on my channel today to share some thoughts about money and ministry. So, but before we get started, I would like to let you know that Apostle James is the senior pastor, right? He's a founder. He's a GO of the Chariot City Family Church. Yes, right here in the city of Abuja. And I think you had a work also in Lafia.
Yeah.
And he's also the director of Team Drama Group.
Yeah.
An amazing drama ministry that you have. So, and you're also a businessman to the core.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, no other better person to talk about money and ministry. So if you're a young person who is in ministry, or you are been in ministry for some time, this is a topic you might want to really follow. And I know it's something that a lot of people have been bothering a lot of people. But first of all, man of God, I would like us to meet you. Yeah. Can you share a bit of how you got into ministry with us?
Oh, wow. Well, again, thank you so much for having me. Coach Andrew, I call him Coach. He's actually one of my coaches. Okay, I actually was called officially into ministry in 2007.
Okay.
I remember I was just a 200 level student in the Benue State University when I received the call. It was a very remarkable call. I came back from school that day and tired. I wanted to rest. And it was as if somebody just tapped me and said, stand up or sit up. I sat up, and then he said I should pick my book and I should write what he wants to tell me. So I picked my book and I started writing. In just a few minutes, the Lord gave me a vision to start a drama ministry that is still existing till today. 2007 to today is over 14 or 15 years now.
That's right.
We've been on. He gave me a clear vision. He said to me, you are called to paint pictures out of scriptures for the edification of mankind.
Wow.
While striving together for the faith of the gospel. So 2007, I received the call. Then I was doing the ministry. I was going to school, doing the ministry. I'm going to school officially because of the strike and the rest of them. I graduated in 2010, served 2011, and then 2012, I was done with my youth service. So officially, I could say that from 2012 to 2020, I was a full-time minister. Okay. So 2012 to 2020, all I was doing was drama. Okay. And they were gospel dramas in churches, in films, production, and the rest of them. But before then, 2016 precisely, the Lord gave me the vision of our church today. So I was doing drama purely, non-denominational drama ministry that had members from different denominations. And then 2016, and now God now added the vision of the church to it. So you are called to enlighten, empower, and elevate the nations of the earth through the teaching of the word of God, thereby turning non-entities to celebrities, impacting life on the dead, and glorifying Jesus, the Son of God. So 2016 was the official time the church was added to it. So you could say I was running the German ministry and then God added the church. So it's a full-fledged ministry.
Amazing. That's a complete growth. You've been in this thing for a very long time.
Yeah.
This is more than close to 2 decades now.
Yeah.
About 2 decades now. Wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. So I know being around for this long, there are several things. You got into ministry at a very young age also. Young. There are several things you must have learned about finances.
True.
Because why my channel basically talks things about money. One of the things I've seen that most especially young ministers battle with is actually their financial life. They are good every area, but they just find it difficult to grasp their finances. And sometimes there's always a place to draw the line.
Yeah.
So I'd like to ask a question. Now, for a young minister who senses the call of God over his life, how would you counsel them to deal with the issue of money? Where would you say they should draw the line? Because sometimes you see people go as far as maybe because of need.
Yeah.
They're going to, in quotes, profit-lying. On the issue of money, what would be your counsel? You know, sometimes you need to raise money for the work. How did you raise money to start your church? Who were the people who gave you money? Was it that people supported your work? Or what was it? Or you were doing a business? How should a young person who is starting out a ministry, right, go about with the issue of money? Because the work requires money.
True. Well, I personally have a lot of encounters like you observed. I've been in ministry for a long time. I remember 2007, I was just about 19 or 20 years old then. And being called to do ministry and then answering the call, for me then was a very dicey stuff because I was having to grab between schooling and working. There was a time I contemplated withdrawing from school and pursuing the vision, waiting for some advice from fathers who said, no, focus on your school and control the ministry. I would have maybe dropped out. So you see, the issue of money is very cardinal to ministry. In fact, 2 things will determine how far your ministry will go in life. 2 things. The first thing is the mandate, the vision. What is the Lord asking you to do? The next most important thing is a Malachi.
The money.
2M, the money.
The mandate and the Malachi. Kavash.
When the mandate meets the Malachi, you fly. That's why Jesus said, the Bible said in Zechariah chapter 1, verse 17, it said, true prosperity shall the gospel, shall my kingdom be spread abroad.
Yeah.
So the vision will not spread. It will be limited. It will remain in one spot. But if prosperity hits the vision cannot but fly everywhere. So you see, most people watching this broadcast right now have the mandate already. They know what the Lord is asking them to do, but how the Lord is asking them to do it and what they will need to do it is a problem, right? So if you understand that your vision is to be reach the ends of the earth, then you need to get a hold of the finance that will enable the vision to reach the ends of the earth. You don't say, I was called to win souls. I'm not called to raise money, or I'm not called to have money. You need the money to pursue the vision. So if I have the opportunity to advise young people, I'll tell them, I say, grab your mandate and find the means of having Malachi. Because if Malachi is in your hand and your mandate is in your hand and the two collide together, the vision will speak.
More like when money meets purpose.
When money meets purpose, the purpose must definitely find expression. It will be expressive, right? So for me, where I ask people to draw the line is money is not the goal. Yes, money is not actually the end.
That's right.
Money is actually the means to the end. Money is a tool.
It's a tool.
Money is a medium. It is money that propels, that helps you to achieve the goal. Okay, for instance, when the Lord told me to start the German ministry, He said, striving together for the faith of the gospel. You are painting pictures out of scriptures for the education of mankind. Why striving together for the faith of the gospel? So I need to paint pictures, I need to strive for the faith of the gospel. But how do I strive and paint without money? So when I see money, I don't see money as though I've arrived. That's why there's a perspective going on right now in the ministry cycle. People ask for your results. They say, "What's your result in ministry?"
Talking about money. Mostly it's about material possessions.
It's about material possessions. Do you have a car? Are you living in a good house? Are your children going to the best school? Does your wife change clothes? Does she have good jewelries? Do you dress well? No, those things are good actually. But if you look at the ministry, they are not the goal. They are not the goal. They are actually the tool by which the ministry should be fulfilled. So if you understand that money in your hand is a tool to get to where you are going to, no amount of money will intoxicate you.
So it simply means that for someone who has not discovered the mandate, if he handles the Malachi,
the mandate will suffer.
The mandate will suffer.
But if you discover your mandate,
yes,
and you handle the Malachi, the Malachi facilitates the mandate.
The mandate. And in fact, it is the mandate that should propel you to get Malachi.
Because if you know what to do, and you have what you need to do it, it's easy.
Now, there's this popular saying that says, for every vision, there's provision. Sometimes when people get into ministry, say, okay, God has given me the vision of the ministry. There's provision for it. I know that there is a place where God supernaturally provides, more like when the children of Israel were in the wilderness, right?
Yeah.
Of course, in the wilderness, there was no way they could plant and eat. Yeah. So in that time of their life, God provided them with manna.
True.
But when they got into the promised land, he said, till the ground, and the ground would produce.
Yes.
So I know there's a place where God supernaturally provides.
True.
Now, but there's a place where God expects that you walk other things, you engage other principles.
True.
So if you say the vision, there's provision for the vision. Can we define that provision we're talking about in context? Is it that when I have a vision, I have the mandate, I just believe as I'm doing it, money? Because I've seen a lot of people who are frustrated, even though they know the mandate, but the Malachi is not coming. You know this, they have it within them, right? They have a global ministry within them, but it's not going anywhere. Wow. So where should we marry should we casually sit down waiting for the provision, or should we engage in certain things to provoke the provisions for the vision? Yeah, that's what I want you to respond to.
Very, very important. God has actually multiple ways to provide for his vision. Multiple ways. God can send a raven to feed Elijah.
That's right.
In the cave. God can actually ask Elijah to get involved with something to get the provision to do the work. Now, most people only see the other part of the raven bringing food for Elijah. They forgot that there was a time the brook dried up. There was no water in the brook, and the raven was not forthcoming anymore. So, and God had to instruct Elijah to move from the cave or from where he was to the widow's house. They forgot that part. So there's a need for every minister to find what the Lord is asking him to do. There's a need for every minister to also find out how the Lord wants to get the work done. So you see, there's something I used to tell people. I said, as the world evolves, ministry evolves. The world is changing. The world, in fact, ministry actually evolves almost every decade.
That's right.
The way of doing ministry 10 years ago, 20 years ago is not the same way of doing ministry now. I humorously say to my wife and to some of my friends that some of our fathers in the faith today who are doing ministry, who are excelling in ministry, who did ministry many years ago, if they want to start all over again with the same method they are starting, it might not work. It might not work. So in this generation, sir, explicitly, if you ask me, I'll tell you it is an error for a minister to wake up in the morning and study the word of God and pray and just believe God for somebody somewhere to bring money to service their bill. Now, if it happens, glory be to God in the highest. If it happens, it does happen, right? But that is limiting God.
That is the raven method.
It's a raven method. And it limits God in a way.
It's the manna method.
It's a wilderness method.
The wilderness method.
Where you're just waiting for, manna to just fall from heaven. But you see, Going to the field to till the ground doesn't stop the manna from coming. Yes, in fact, it is another kind of manna. It's just that this time around, there is a process by which the manna comes. The other one breaks protocol and just gets you to the place. Well, imagine if you have the manna coming to meet you doing the principle of the process.
The process.
You are tilling the ground and the manna meets you. That's the kind of, personally, that's what I live. I live by divine provision. God just surprised me with some people just come send me money. Some other times, I get involved in my business and God sends customer to my business and bless me with money.
So which will bring me to my next question. But before I ask that, I want to show you something Paul said in 1 Thessalonians 2 verse 9.
Yeah.
He says, surely you remember, telling the brothers in this Thessalonian church, he says, surely you remember, brothers, our toil and hardship. We worked night and day in order not to be a burden to anyone while we preach the gospel of God to you. So they were working night and day. Right? Now, as a minister, the question now will be, should a minister of the gospel work? You made mention of some. Should a minister of the gospel have to work to earn some money in a secular job or engage himself in a secular business? What is your opinion about that?
But in my opinion, every minister should work in addition to ministry. In my opinion, and I'll tell you why. Nobody does ministry full time.
I was coming to that.
Nobody does ministry full time. Anybody who tells you he's a full-time minister is actually trying to use that as a shelf, to shelf away attack or to repel people from questioning his laziness. Truth. I'm telling you what I practiced for more than 10 years. From 2012 to 2020, about 8 years. I was not involved in any business directly. I have creative business I do for myself and for a few friends. But to say I went to go get a government job or to get a private job and submitted application and worked, I didn't do that for 8 years. So I can tell you the difference between somebody who is involved and not. Most people who carry that title, full-time minister, just a minute few are actually full-time ministers. Those minute few give 60% of their time to the work of the ministry. Is either those ones are going to preach, or they are studying or praying, or they are being following up on a member, or they are evangelizing, or they have a crusade, or probably they are trying to start up a school for the church, or they are attending to some ministry within ministry. Right now, my concept of full-time ministry is that a full-time minister must have full-time devotion. A full-time minister must have what I call full-time obedience. That's if you are doing what God asks you to do within the time He asks you to do it, you're a full-time minister. Now, I don't have to have myself confined within a locality, call an office as a pastor every day, Monday to Friday, to be called a full-time minister. I can be in my house, and I am a full-time minister.
Okay.
I can be running a business in Utako, Lagos, or London, and I'm a full-time minister, as long as what the Lord asked me to do has been done.
Can you say that again? Now, you defined a full-time minister. I said, there was a way you put it, when you do what the Lord asked you to do, you obey it at the time the Lord asked you.
Yes. Doing what the Lord asks you to do within the time frame of his asking you to do it is full-time ministry. Doing
So
what God
full-time
asks
ministry is full-time obedience.
Full-time ministry is full-time obedience, full-time devotion. As a matter of fact, you can be confined within a locality and you're not a full-time minister. Because within that full-time location, what are you doing? Are you chatting? Are you gisting? We have people like that. And you say you're a full-time minister, and we come to your office, you are gisting inside, you are watching film.
Yes, and you're a full-time
You are listening
minister.
to radio.
And you don't hold any meetings.
You don't hold any meeting, and
you don't go for evangelism.
And your bills are piling. Your wife is not well taken care of. Your children are not well taken care of, and so many things are just losing.
And you're a full-time minister.
And you're a full-time minister. So full-time ministry to me is full-time devotion, full-time obedience. Doing what God asks you to do within the time He asks you to do it is full-time ministry. Now, I'll give you an example. Luke chapter 22. I've not quoted the one scripture. Let me quote one now. So I don't say this man is just talking.
Yes, I was waiting for that.
Luke 22. Let's look at it together.
Yeah.
Luke 22. Jesus gave a very profound word there. Luke 22:35. He said, and he said unto them, when I sent you without purse and script and shoes, lack ye anything? Now, by the way, Jesus was actually drawing their attention to Luke chapter 10. He had sent them earlier, 70 of them, sent them 2 by 2, and asked them, carry no purse, carry no bag, carry nothing, go, and you will get all you need and do the work and come back. Now, when I sent you, did you lack anything? And they said, nothing. Then, verse 36, then said he unto them, but now, not tomorrow, but now, he that had a purse, let him take it.
But now, you know this. You know, a lot of people capitalize on the first part of that scripture.
Yes, sir.
You lack anything. So if God has sent you, you won't lack anything.
You won't lack anything.
But we need to read it in context. Now,
Yes,
I'm saying something and I say, but now.
But now.
You didn't do it before.
You didn't do it
So
before.
as at the time Jesus Christ gave that instruction, it was valid.
It was valid.
But right now,
There's a new modus vivendi. There's a new syllabus.
Yes.
He said, but now he that had a purse,
Yes.
in case you have one saving somewhere, carry it.
And you must have anyone money to have savings.
Yes, you must have any money to have saving. You must be involved in a business to have saving. You know, he said, let him take it, and likewise his script. And he that had no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one.
Buy one
sword.
Sword was necessary
that time.
If it's today now, you say buy phone so that you can have.
You get a picture.
If you don't have phone, sell it now and buy a phone.
Buy a phone. You just remember.
So this is an instruction for someone.
This is very instructive.
Buy a smartphone.
Buy a smartphone. It's necessary for me.
And if you have a smartphone and you are not making money with a smartphone,
start making money with a smartphone. Very instructive.
Yeah.
You know, so I told you when we started that season change, patterns change, things are changing. In fact, it is more productive for a pastor to work now than then. Now, it is more beneficial to the church for a pastor to be involved in the secular job now. Let me tell you why. In those days when our parents in the Lord started ministry, people were living in clusters.
Okay.
People were living in clusters. People were not widely dispersed as it is today.
Okay.
So you can actually stand in one end of the community and speak, and the whole community has heard you.
Okay.
But now, with increased civilization and increased development, people have moved different places, and things are becoming more difficult. People are becoming more difficult to reach. So getting a job is an opportunity to meet people in a place. So chances are that every day you are meeting somebody and sharing a culture, a kingdom culture. It's the conventional way of carrying flyer on the street doesn't work anymore. You have to meet with me one-on-one, have a relationship with me before the gospel that you have can be beneficial to me and to you. So when people interact, business happen. When people interact, gospel is shared. When people interact, so things are changing. You can make money, and at the same time, you are being a blessing for the Lord. You are reaching people for the Lord. Not that you have to set aside one day to go for evangelism. Every day of your life, you're evangelizing because you are involved and interacting with people. Business partners are your potential soul winners. Investors, potential soul winners. Colleagues in the office, potential soul winners. Neighbors at home, potential soul winners. You know, so that's my concept of full-time ministry. You are obeying God within the space, within the circumference, within the time that He has asked you to obey. That's His full-time ministry.
That's fantastic. I love that definition. Now, having said all that, I want to say that for certain kind of ministers, are there certain kind of ministers is there a stage a minister should get in ministry and leave out some secular job? I want us to be mindful of people who are, for example, missionaries, right? I have a strong desire for mission work. People who are missionary, and he's in faraway country, and because of the nature of their ministry, they're always moving from one place to the other. So it may be very logical to say, get a job or start up something. Now, are there certain people in ministry who may not be able to do this? That's one. And who are those kind of people? Then secondly, is there this particular stage you get to in ministry that this thing you may not be able to live by this? It's just like what Jesus Christ say for now.
For now.
So it means this instruction might change. So are there certain people and is there a certain stage?
Yeah. Sincerely speaking, there are exemptions to these things, right? Like I said, one of my definitions for full-time ministry is full hands. I don't know if I said it or I forgot to say it. Full-time ministry is one whose hands are full.
Not just sitting back and you just started work. You don't have two members. You say
you're a full-time minister. What are you full-time in?
And
if there's a word like that,
even if you want to visit them every day, you still have 5 days. 5 days
you get a picture
left.
of that. So in all honesty, there are people who, by virtue of growth, can no longer attend to any other business. They can only be investors. They can only be investors. And of course, let me be sincere with you, most of the mentors that you have, that you're looking up to, are into businesses.
Fantastic.
Most of them. In fact, there are businesses you don't have to go physically to do. There are people who have invested in shares, invested in blockchain. People bought digital assets, NFTs. I saw a pastor the other day talking about an NFT he minted. What billion? Somebody asking, why didn't you buy land? Why didn't you buy a house? Why are you buying this? He said, this is more profitable for him because he doesn't have to maintain. He doesn't have to maintain. You maintain for house and land and lands.
You are not paying any levy.
You're not paying any levy. You're not paying any rent. For maintenance. So most of these fathers most of them have shipping companies. Some of them have, a lot of oil. Schools. Some of them run schools. Some of them have intellectual properties. They wrote books that are selling in Amazon, in so many platforms. For such people, it will be insensitive to say is a full-time minister. His hands are full. Their hands are full. So if you get to a point where your hands are full, we can agree with you that you cannot be involved with physical businesses that can support the ministry, because the ministry is self-supporting. So one of the things you have to check, actually, what you currently do, does it occupy all your time? That's how to know if you should add something to what you are currently doing as a minister. Your ministry, does it occupy every of your time? Following up people, evangelizing people, preaching, praying, studying God's word, does it take all your time? At least 60% of your time? Secondly, does your ministry have the capacity to foot your bills? When you want to pay rent, do you have to call somebody in your church to help you out? When your wife is having to attend to maternity or something, or your children's school fees or something, do you have to run errands to pay them? If you are still running errands to pay, number one, you are going against God. You are not living by faith. Means that truly you are not in full time, because if you are in full time, the faith should pay your bills. The faith for full time should pay your bills. So if you don't have that faith to believe God for that kind of manner that we talked about, or believe God for raving to bring, then you have to get involved practically and believe God to send you help through that business, right? So if that business or that ministry rather doesn't foot your bills, you know you are playing too small. You need to add something to it. The third thing I'd like to ask you is, if you were not a ministry, what else would you have been doing? Yeah, it's very important.
I like that one.
For me, if I was not in ministry, if I was not called to do drama or anything, I would be doing NGO. I love charity work. I love to be involved with, I just love to see people's life change. That's why I like to be addressed as nation builder. I am somebody that if I find an opportunity that is giving me money, I like the whole world to hear about it. I like people's life to be easy, even if it means those people who are going to disrespect me later, I don't mind, but let them be helped. That's my kind of person. So when I started ministry and I came to this understanding, because it took me 8 years, like I told you, to come into a full understanding of the fact that ministry does not actually stop me from doing all the things the Lord has asked me to do. In fact, for many years that I was doing only ministry, the kind of impact I now make, I now have, I didn't have it.
Oh, wow.
But you see, as I interacted with people, because I had the leverage of joining business cycles and organizations and meetings, my influence increased. I could now meet people who are from the other religion and we could interact and they could tell me, James, I like you. I like your kind of person. You are sincere. You know, he kind of added to my...
They're saying the gospel.
They are saying the gospel.
In you.
You know, it reinforced the fact that I'm called. You know, so that's the three things you need to take into consideration. Number one, does your ministry occupy your time, every of your time? Number two, does it pay your bills? Do you have to pray a special prayer? Lord, provide money before money comes into your hand. If you are doing that, it's wrong. You should be occupied with praying for souls. Ask for the kingdom, not praying for money. God has given you money. The idea is, by all means, dear minister, earn money from something.
Earn money
from money. Legitimate money from something. Don't come to a level where you are reduced to begging.
And you make mockery of the gospel.
Dear pastor, don't come to a point in your life where if you don't get an offering, your wife or children will not eat. It's embarrassing. As a matter of fact, right now, even real estate, you don't have to own a property to sell a property.
That's right.
You can affiliate with a real estate company.
And because of your integrity.
People want to buy from you. Your integrity is a currency.
That's right.
People want to buy from somebody who they can trust. If you find a very trustworthy real estate company and you partner with them, I'm going to bring a buyer to buy. I'm going to bring buyers to buy. When I sell, what's my commission?
It's all about taking deliberate steps. Taking deliberate and intentional steps.
Be intentional.
That's just it.
That's the truth. So that's where I'll stop. For further details, you can contact.
Wow, man of God, this conversation is inexhaustible. If we want to go on and on and on and on, we can just keep going on and on. It's inexhaustible. The opportunities are inexhaustible. What people could do, right? Don't streamline yourself to even the conversations we've just had here. There are so many things. I believe if you can think deep, you will always find a solution to any problem that you're facing right now. So thank you guys for watching this video. Feel free to drop your comments, ask your questions, write your contributions, drop all of them in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel, this is a good time to subscribe, right? So that, and if you know someone that this will be a blessing to, this is a good time to share it with them. Let this channel, we're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Right now we're around 600 plus. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Right? Share it to more people, let them see it. And hopefully we get monetized someday. And from my heart, I know what I want to do with the money that comes from this channel. But beyond that, that is not even the goal. The goal is being able to share valuable information that can help people transform or move their financial life from point A to point B. So thank you guys for watching. I wish you all the best. My name still remains Andrew Ugbe, popularly known as Andy Mandate. And I'll see you in my next video. Thank you, man of God, for coming. It's such an honor to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Guys, I'll see you in our next video. Cheers.